We're back now with President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who is called a central figure in the whistleblower complaint. He joins us from New York this morning. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Margaret.
Why wouldn't the president reach out first to law enforcement, to his own agencies, if his concern was truly about corruption? Why bring this up in a phone call with the leader of Ukraine?
Well, this goes back actually to November of 2018. I wasn't asking for this. Someone came to me, a very well-respected investigator, American citizen, and told me that in Ukraine there were a number of allegations of interference in the 2016 election that appear to be real and truthful, unlike the Russian collusion hoax. And that it was very ironic that Hillary Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, our embassy there, was collecting dirt going back to the early part of 2016 on the Trump campaign, on people who operated in the Trump campaign, on the president, and that there were witnesses, quite a few of them, that would support this. And they've been trying to get it to the FBI for a year to a year and a half, and they have been frustrated in doing so. So having gotten that, as his defense lawyer, I had to pursue it. They would not talk to the FBI because
the FBI director appointed by President Trump, you're saying, refused to look at this?
I didn't say he refused to look at it. I
you just said
they
the
were
FBI
afraid,
wouldn't look at it.
I said they were afraid to go to the FBI because they had been turned down so often. And one of the central figures in it is a FBI agent who appears to be involved in the gathering of dirt, work with a particular company owned by George Soros that was collecting this information. That company is one of the companies where Biden's bribery of Poroshenko, he got that case dismissed. People were ignoring that Biden played a role in getting these collusion allegations covered up by having the case against Antac dismissed. So it was all one piece. The reason I investigated it is, as his defense lawyer, it's my job to show if there's an alternative explanation that proves him innocent. I got it to the point, let me finish. I got it to the point of affidavits. I put them all online. Mm-hmm. Here's one of them.
Well, sorry, can we finish on the first point you brought up? Because this is very complicated,
one of them,
Mr. Mayor. I want to
respond
to what you just laid out. No, I want to actually, I want to bring up to you. No, we did. Actually, CBS News and our partners, BBC, in Ukraine went to the prosecutor general to ask him specifically about the Biden questions you're raising, the current one. Let's play the clip, please.
And I told Mr. Giuliani, okay, if you start your investigation in the United States, we can officially help you. According to international law, we will give you legal international assistance.
Have you got any evidence that Joe Biden acted in any way which supported Hunter Biden's company, Burisma?
It is not my jurisdiction.
But have you got any?
It is not my jurisdiction. I can't do nothing which is not connected with Ukrainian law.
So under Ukrainian law, you've got nothing?
Nothing.
So that was Sergei Lysenko, who is one of the advisors to the current president. We also spoke off camera to the prosecutor general, who said there was no evidence there.
Margaret, this is exceedingly embarrassing. Mr. Lysenko has been fired by the current president. Mr. Lysenko is exactly the prosecutor that Joe Biden put in order to tank the case. And it is suspected
you met with him repeatedly, he says, about this.
Well, he's not the current prosecutor general.
Right, I know. I said the prosecutor general. We spoke with off camera as well, and he had to the Washington Post and other organizations said that he didn't have evidence.
Maybe you all are so blinded because this is a Democrat. You're not doing your job properly. The prosecutor general you should have spoken to is the one who was fired, who has said in this affidavit that he was fired specifically because he was investigating Joe Biden's son. This has been online for 6 months, and the Washington media just closes their eyes to it. That's the wrong prosecutor general you're talking to.
The prosecutor general you're referring to there is Victor Shokin, and that is online, and you shared that with our team, and we did look at it, and he was called to be fired, not just by the United States, but other organizations who said he wasn't investigating, in fact, He was fired
But
for the thing you're saying he wasn't doing.
But Margaret, he says the opposite under oath.
In an Austrian court, you're showing there, yes, and that's a court filing on behalf of another individual who's facing extradition to the United States.
I invite your reporters, who I'm sure are interested in digging out corruption, to see if this isn't corroborated by 3 other prosecutors who say the same thing. The one that you interviewed is the one who was corrupted. And there are a lot of allegations
Mr. Mayor,
about
I want to ask you about something that has developed in the past few hours.
Including against Soros.
I want to ask you, because you may have direct knowledge here, since you have said Kurt Volker, the U.S. envoy to Ukraine, set up those meetings, you said, for you with Ukraine's leaders. He has resigned. Do you know why?
I don't know why Kurt resigned. I mean,
he's being deposed this week.
Kurt did his job honorably and decently. I think there are a lot of people in the State Department who maybe have questions about what he did and why he did it, but I should tell you, he wasn't the only one. He was joined by another ambassador who talked to me, debriefed me, gave me information about what to ask Mr. Yermak.
Who is that?
I did not do this on my own. I did it at the request of the State Department, and I have all of the text messages to prove it, and I also have a thank you from them from doing a good job.
Who sent you that?
I don't know why the State Department is running away from it.
Did Secretary of State Pompeo know you were doing these things? Did he ask you to do these things?
He did not. Mr. Volker did, and then Mr. Sondland did. But when I talked to the Secretary last week, he said he was aware of it. He told me that he was aware of it.
So you're saying the Secretary of State didn't instruct you to set up these meetings, but he knew what you were doing when you were meeting with members of the Ukrainian government?
No,
I'm asking you to clarify that. What exactly did Pompeo know?
I think I clarified it, but I'm happy to say it again.
Please do.
On July 19th, 2019, Kurt Volker called me, text message to prove it. I put it out last week. Would you please, would you allow me to give your phone number to Mr. Yermak, who wants to talk to you to clear up the confusion about your canceled trip to the Ukraine? I said, it's up to you. You think I should do it? He said, the guy's a straight guy, unlike another lawyer who around the president who's crooked. I said, I'm willing to do it. Let me check the guy out first. I called him back 2 or 3 days later. We arranged a meeting. He knew about the meeting. At the end of the meeting, I called Mr. Volker and Ambassador Sondland, and I debriefed them. I told them what I had learned. And then on August 11, I had a complete debriefing.
All right.
At the time, they didn't mention the Secretary of State. They don't have to. They're both ambassadors and assistant secretaries, I think.
Yeah.
However, when I spoke to the Secretary last week, I said, are you aware of this? And he said, yes, I know about this.
Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Mayor.